G'day, mate. What's your name?
My name's Bart.
Bart, and what do you do, Bart?
I just wander around and get into mischief, pretty much.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Crowdworkcast. My name's Andrew Barnett. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we do anything else, I have 3 big shows that I need to plug. I really need to get people along to these. So, Brisbane, I'm coming up to visit you guys. October 7, I'll be at the Sit Down Comedy Club up there doing my show, How Good. Newcastle will be your turn on October 22 at the Newcastle Comedy Club. And Sydney, November 3 at the Sydney Comedy Store. This is my first time doing a solo at the Sydney Comedy Store. Very excited about all 3 of these gigs, and I'd really love them to sell well. So, if you're in or around any of those areas, please go to andrewbarnettcomedy.com, grab some tickets. If you're not, but you know someone who is that you think might enjoy the show, or even if it's someone who you think won't enjoy the show, just trick them into buying a ticket. I'd love to see them come along. So enough of that. First off, now this is my episode with Bart Freebairn. Now, Bart's a Melbourne-based comedian who I don't get to see enough, but I always walk away from hanging out with Bart just feeling so much better about life. He's just a sort of zen dude who's got a great perspective on things. So, I love hanging out with Bart. He's always a really fun chat, an interesting dude. More importantly, he's super funny. So if you get a chance to see him do comedy, I cannot recommend that highly enough. Check him out on Instagram. He is Bart LOL. And on Facebook, he's Bart Comedy. So go check out his stuff there. Give him a follow. And like I said, go see him live whenever you get the chance. Also, if you do get the chance to hang out with him, or if he gives you advice about a restaurant you should eat at, definitely follow that advice. He will never, ever steer you wrong. He knows all the good little places. He's a guy who just he enjoys experiences in life and he enjoys sharing them with people. So, like I said, check out Bart. You're going to enjoy this chat. If you're enjoying the show, please like, follow, do all that stuff. But for now, just enjoy this episode. This is my chat with Bart Freebairn.
Wander around and get into mischief. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a real vagabond sort of life for you, mate.
Yeah, scallywag.
Scallywag.
I'd ride the rails, pretty much.
Is it? I have a romantic fantasy of that sort of a lifestyle. Like, as a kid especially, I was like, imagine just getting in a...
Right.
But then the reality of it, I think, is probably it's a lot dirtier, louder.
Shitting in the woods.
More dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think I'm as close as I can be to a scallywag. Like, I'm traveling a lot. I've got a home base, but I'm not there heaps. And the displacement that you have from that can be hectic sometimes. Where you're like, who am I? What is any of the, like that's the case anyway as an adult. You're in the point where you're like, I'm just a meat bag walking around.
There is the balance between, because it does seem like, and I think it's that a bit of grass is always greener, where you feel like, oh man, the freedom of just being able to do what I want, travel. But then there is a certain insecurity that comes with being untethered like that. Like you're like, whoa, where's my structure? Where's my people?
There's no one saying, where are you? Get home. It's just like when you're a kid. There's that one kid in the neighborhood whose parents don't care about him enough. And they're like, oh, I wish mum yelled at me.
Yeah, it's funny how your perspective on all that changes as you get older.
Yeah.
Where you're like the parents who go, oh yeah, man, I wish I had parents like them. They just let them do whatever they want, man. Yeah. They didn't care where they were. It's like, oh no, that's actually kind of sad.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And what's he doing now? He's a truck driver on meth.
Yeah.
So he's never going home.
And look, he's got kids of his own in different cities.
That he's aware of a couple, but there's more.
Yeah, exactly. He's not acknowledging all of them, but
they should do a test when you get to like 22, where they just go like they lock you in as someone who's just not ever going to settle, and they go, here you go, mate, there's a vasectomy.
Yes.
And we'll give you a card that'll let you sleep in these bunks that are around the place, and then we're just going to monitor you with this collar.
Yeah.
And off you go.
No. Look, think of this as, you know how, like, you know, there are birds and animals that live in the wild that are, they're wild animals.
They are.
We don't encumber them, but we've just got a tag on them just to know where they are. We're studying them.
Keeping an eye on the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breeding habits, food. So our society, and maybe the only time I can think of is maybe those people who chose not to be, at least in Western society, they're just like, I'm going to be a hobo, I'm going to ride the rails.
Yeah.
But now, if someone's like, yeah, I just don't have a home because I want to, and I'm a well-dressed together person who's just sleeping in a tent next to a church, when has that happened, ever?
Yeah, I know. We're in a weird stage, I feel like, where there's just, we're seeing stuff that's like what when we grew up. Like, how old are you?
43.
So yeah, similar age to me. I'm 42. There was just stuff that everyone seemed to agree on that were just, you know, this is just facts. This is
social norms.
There's stuff that this is just the way it's done.
Yeah.
And now, like, it just seems to be so much of that. Well, why?
Yeah.
It questioned, and it's like, oh God, I don't know what
it does. I like that. You know, okay, there's mad advantages to the stock, you know, like solid job, family, house, those things are, there's a burden to that. It's hard work, but also the stability and the joy you get out of that is massive.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it's not the only way, but society's not really built to super accept the other ways. I think people are okay with it, but it's not, you're not really... I don't know.
At a certain point, people, like modern people, expect plumbing.
Yeah.
There's certain functions. Like, it's not. We're not in the you know, the 1700s anymore, where, you know, okay, well, you just emptied your bucket in the street and let the rain do its thing.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know. Like that's what I think. You know, if time travel was possible, I think the biggest difference we'd notice is the smells.
The smells would be massive. Just the body odor factor.
I remember
insane.
One of my uncles was obsessed with it for a while. With, like, you'd look at these old photos and he'd just lean over and go, they would have all stunk.
Oh,
deodorant wasn't invented.
The breath.
Oh, yeah, because dental science wasn't.
I do think. I was listening to a podcast a while ago about dating in like the 1800s in England, and the fact that they weren't going for looks as much as they were going for how clean someone was. Like their cleanliness. Yeah, so the way they kept themselves was a big factor. If they had clean hair, if they had like all right teeth, you'd be like, that's a catch right there.
Wow. It's kind of the opposite for the way the English backpackers are around, you know, Byron Bay and that sort of stuff. The dirtier, the sexier.
They're regressing. Yeah. Dreads? I can't get around. I'm looking at me like, of course you can't. You're just a middle-aged white dude. But I'm just like, why are you doing that? I want to chop them off with a sword.
Oh, mate, I'm as open to whatever you want to do, but it just it
from a cleanliness standpoint, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It does. It does reek of I don't want to be too close to them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's in those things.
No, I mean, everything's in there. There's a place for bed bugs, so I don't know.
Ugh.
But yeah, I think you can love people a lot if you're not at the coalface of the scum of humanity. If you have any like human-facing job, you're gonna go, oh, people are great, but they're also real fucking corrupt.
People have got some range.
They have the biggest range of any. The top end feels like a different species to the bottom.
It does, doesn't it?
Like they're not the same creatures.
No, like the kindest, most gentle people, like that, and you know they'll do anything for anyone.
Yeah,
and then they might live next door to the person who's telling their kids, mate, you get yours before the other. You screw over the other bloke before he screws you. Everyone can't trust anyone in this world. For me, they're some of the scariest people that you cannot trust anyone in this world.
Terrifying.
What an awful world to live in where you can't trust anyone.
Highly transactional. Like just super, I'm going to keep a track on every single thing that we've done. And in my head, I'm going to do maths to see whether it weighs up.
Yeah.
And soon as it's tipped in your favor, I'm going to go you.
Yeah.
That sort of, terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think you've got NASA, and then you've got dudes who are just like breaking into houses that are being built to rip out copper piping.
Yeah, that is a lot of range, isn't it?
It's mad range. You got the people who are reaching for the stars and other people who are like actively destroying other people's dreams so they can.
Yeah, it's we got. I mean, it makes for interesting living.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we like. I kind of wish we just like. It's nice to be somewhere in the middle of that bell curve.
Yes.
Where you're not having to.
Yeah, I feel like we're on the getting closer to the high end, just being in the first world, being educated. You know, I went to San Francisco to visit my sister a couple months ago. Well, no, a month ago, right?
Yeah.
She lives in San Fran, Silicon Valley, works for big tech.
This is where the gamut's on display.
This is the range, right? So one of the games you can play in San Fran is that an animal or a human shit?
Oh wow.
And it's mostly human because they're bigger than almost any dog that can exist.
Yep.
They're everywhere. There's just been a breakdown of some kind of basic human structure, but also people have millions of dollars. So you've got these like teenagers driving around in Rolls Royces next to a guy who just sits on the street corner and spits into the same spot day after day. You know, like that kind of range. I don't know, like I mean, we're getting into social engineering here, but you kind of wish, like I am a big believer in middle class. You need a big, it's real healthy,
strong middle class.
Yeah, I agree.
For a functioning society.
Social mobility, you can work your way up, meritocracy to an extent, love it.
Yeah, it's never going to exist perfectly, especially the meritocracy thing, but if a big, strong middle class where people have an opportunity and you can have just a job.
Yeah.
And have a lot. Like
that pays enough, just one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like the idea that, I remember, you know, this, like it seems so quaint now, but there was a time where you could be like a postie.
Yeah.
And have a house.
Oh, you like good
raise
job.
a family.
Get a job.
It was just a nice, stable job.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know what posties are paid now, but I hardly. Yeah. I also don't know any.
I do feel like in my head, Australia Post is actually a pretty good deal in the scheme of things. If you were Australia Post, they'd probably take care of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, I mean, America's definitely, if you're unskilled labor, which I don't know if that is even a thing, you've got to have some skills to do everything.
Yeah.
You're getting paid.
Jeez, you can tell you live in Melbourne and just the qualifying. Yeah. Don't take me the wrong way.
Guys.
That's the other thing. Everything, you got to be careful. You don't want anything to be taken out of context.
I mean, it will be anyway.
Because everyone's on the front foot when
they're
it
ready
comes
to. Oh yeah, they're ready to swing.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, I worked hospo for years, and I think it's a hard job. Does take skill, but it's just not one that you get a specific qualification. As much as everyone values going to a good restaurant, good cafe. They love it, but paying the staff enough, I think Australia does a pretty good job.
Well, especially when you compared to the
States.
US.
Yeah, the States has a lot to answer for.
Like when I travelled there, that would shit me. Is like you've got to tip the staff because they're only getting $4 an hour. I was like, why is that my problem?
Yeah. Plus, you're paying tax on top of your food. So for me, I call it the plus society. Yeah. Where the sandwich is $10. It's actually $18. It's going to cost you 18 because you've got this, that on top, plus tip, plus, you know.
And that was, I remember talking to, because it's actually, I think there's a law here where the actual price has to be the advertised price. You can't have the...
It's good law.
And
it's good law.
I remember talking to Americans about it. They're like, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why that wouldn't be the case everywhere.
It gets me every time I go. Where I'm like, this was meant to be. Oh yeah, okay, tax.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Like I don't know about you, but when I buy a sandwich, I don't want to have to do a heap of maths.
No,
like it's just like the maths I want to do is how much. Like especially now, you don't pay cash for almost anything. I just go, have I got that amount in the account that's on this card? Yeah. So that's all the maths I really want to have to do.
Yeah, America, I just end up foregoing maths, realize I'm on holiday, I'm going to get screwed. And when they give me a different number to what I thought, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. The only time I've questioned any kind of price recently was a trip from Sydney Airport to Circular Quay. And
on the train?
No, on taxi. Oh. And it was double what I normally, it was $120.
What?
And I was like, it should be 60, right?
Yeah.
And I said to the guy, hey, man, this is double what it normally is. He's like, oh, no, this is what it's meant to be. I was like, I catch this trip a lot.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pay it. You just have to give me your registrations license, taxi license,
Yeah.
and I'll pay it. And then we pulled up and he was like, $55. And I was like, yeah, man, just give me a receipt.
Yeah. Not a rube, dude.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
But that's once again, that's that guy who's going, this guy doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And man, that would work like
So much.
9 times out of 10, I
Yeah,
would imagine, for
I
that
reckon.
guy. Like,
Yeah.
he's just doubling his fare because he's going, it's from the airport, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, these people have got money.
Yeah.
And in his head, I think that's a way humans are very good at justifying too, is he's looking at you going, well, this guy's rich enough to be getting, I'm assuming you're going
I
from
could afford
the
it.
airport to a ship.
To a ship, yeah.
Yeah, so he
I'm
doesn't
not-
know that you're going to entertain. Like, this is a work trip.
Yeah, they're
he's
not
just
paying-
seen a guy. He's going,
Yeah.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
he's rich enough
Fine.
to fly in to catch a cruise.
Yeah.
He's rich enough to pay the extra.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking, because the ship will pick up the fee.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's not going to cost me anything. But then there's just a part of me that just goes, you're doing this to people because you think you can.
Yeah,
Nah.
and
I'm gonna-
also like, yes, it doesn't cost you anything, but it's costing at some point. That's costing someone
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
the money, and why should he get
Yeah.
that extra money
Well,
for
that's
not
it.
doing anything?
I think
different.
he takes the risk of trying to get more, and then he runs into obstacles like me that just go, hey, And I did take a photo of his license plate, but I haven't followed up on it.
Mm.
So, I mean, there's a point where I'm like, oh, well, he's out there doing it still.
Yeah, and hopefully too, like then now there's that extra bit of risk.
Yeah.
For him, he's thinking, like, even if it prevents him doing it for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
there was a study like ages ago. There was a thing I read about. They did a study about like when people see a highway police car.
Yeah.
It's what they call the halo effect. Is like they see it, and even if they're not speeding at the time or it slows them down, they then are aware that the police are around, so they slow down for there's a big
The presence.
radius.
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
that.
the fear of getting caught. I
So
definitely.
I think that you've added to that for him. So
Yeah.
you might have
Yeah,
bought 3 weeks worth of.
I'm pretty
honesty.
much a hero.
Yeah,
No, I'll take the badge.
mate.
I'll take the medals.
Mate, we'll get you an Order of Australia. Yeah,
I would like one now, actually. But this. Oh, sorry. You go, mate.
No. I was just wondering if you've ever do you ever look at that list? This is way sidetracked now. You know the Australia Day honours or the Queen's birthday honour, or King's birthday honours now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you ever look at that list and go, how have they missed me this year?
Yeah. Me, I'm like, there should be a naughty list that I'm on. Mate.
A naughty
He
list.
hasn't done much.
Yeah.
He's been mooching. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or they need
The lower order of Australia.
or just middle. Like, here's 10 people who are just living their lives pretty normally. They haven't
Yeah.
done much, and then you can see the difference.
Yeah, well, just, you know what? Holding up an end.
Yeah.
You know what? This guy, he paid his tax.
Yeah.
He looked after his family.
It's enough.
He's, his lawn's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, just not every, like, why do, like, everything's like, let's acknowledge the high achievers.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge the bloke who's just holding up an end.
I genuinely think if you're taking care of your family, you're not fucking up. Like, you're top end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're whoever you are. That's huge. Just it's a thankless job.
I'd love to. We're honouring Janet. Janet wasn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't late to work.
No.
She got her kids to school,
And
on
they're
time.
bastards.
And they're bastards. Yeah,
They're total bastards, and she loves them.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she's. You know what? She was
Yeah.
tired.
This is
She
for
could
you,
have-
Janet.
She could have stopped
Good
and
job.
got him McDonald's on the way home, but no, she took him home.
Yeah.
And she made something a little healthier midweek. She's not
Yeah.
giving in.
She's putting some boundaries in place. They're not going to be. They're
Yeah.
bastards. Most kids are bastards early, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I just know I've got one mate in particular. Her bloke is just no good. I mean, he's on his way out, but you can see
He's on
because
his
of
way
that.
out. Euphemistically love
Yeah,
that.
but you can see like, it's thankless hard work doing a good job, but doing a bad job's a dark road.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's
So
you very much reap what you sow.
yeah,
When it comes to your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like they will, and you're not even aware of it. They will sometimes reflect the worst parts of your personality. You see a bit of behaviour and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
You're seeing that. I didn't realize I was giving off that energy.
Just mirrors, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's mirrors.
It's terrifying. It's never the good stuff too.
No, well, maybe you get to see that later, or what do they say about negative? Like the power of negativity is much stronger than positivity. Like you can have 10 good things happen to you, but one bad thing happens that outweighs it, or can level it out.
Yeah, I think it's like probably, to be fair, like my kids are great.
Yeah.
But I don't look at all the good stuff they do and go, that's me. Yeah. I just look at when they're leaning towards bad tendencies that I know my brain leans towards. I'm like, oh man, they're going, like, why do they have to be like me there?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't see, like, if they're doing well, like, you know, like applying themselves at school, I'm like, they're like their mum. They work hard.
Yeah. They're going.
They're going all right. And then when they're being a smart ass, I'm like, oh, why do they have to be so much like me?
Oh, mate, I didn't want to give you that bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, right? Like, yeah, kids. So you're a single man?
I'm a single man. I'm an uncle. That's
You're
the
an
closest I'm getting to. Yeah. So and a happy uncle. I've had a vasectomy, mate. I'm a single.
You've registered.
I've got my train pass. I've got my vasectomy. I've got all my little snacks. I'm just out in the world.
Yeah.
Happy to be out in the world. Definitely had a bit of like mental friction. I'd always was sure I didn't want kids, but as I was getting closer to actually getting the snip without having kids, I'm like, whoa, am I? The going a different road isn't.
It's a strong evolutionary impulse.
For me, the thing that I had more trouble with was, am I going to be able to be loved? Will I be accepted? Will I have a life that I'm a part of something? And I just came to the realization that I do now. I'm not. I'm already in.
It actually doesn't change.
Doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And there was, I don't know how, if it happens with other men or it's just with me, where I was like, am I, part of my worth, I thought to being a good partner was the ability to give someone kids. And then I'm like, for most people, a lot of people that's the case, but there's a lot of people who don't want them, so you'd fit there,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't want kids of my own, but I think they're amazing. It depends. They're just little kids. Like, they're obviously more interesting the older they get.
Yeah. Well, they're just people.
Yeah.
And they're just evolving over time like anyone else. But that's the thing too, is like, it's like, I remember when you're a kid, like the first realization I had that pricks get old too.
Yeah.
Like when because when you're a kid, you just assume, old people are nice because you're relating to your grandparents.
Yeah, that's
nice
right.
And then you meet some crotchety old person.
So bitter. They get worse.
You're like, oh man. It's like, I didn't realize. Like, it's not like, they say only the good die young. Well, the flip side of that is sometimes pricks get old.
They live forever. Yeah. Real bastards, actually. Like, real nasty.
Anger's a bit of a life force.
And that bitter, like, So, I mean, working on cruise ships, you run into some oldies that have gone that road a little bit. They've just chosen the dark path.
The dark path is a good way to...
I had one. I was like literally a couple of days ago. I was on a cruise ship, breakfast time, getting some eggs, right? There's a little omelette station.
Yep.
Love it.
Nice.
And there's a line for the omelette. There's like a few of us. And then on the other side, there's the normal breakfast stuff. So you go join one line, join the other. There was a little lady next to me waiting. She was 4 foot nothing, tiny, must have been 190. And I was chatting to the chef. And she just was like, can you move? I'm trying to get to the breakfast. And I went, this is the line for the eggs. Did you want an omelette? She's like, I don't want an omelette. I want some bacon. I want this. I was like, you have to go around to join that. And she just kept trying to push me out of the way. Like, get out of the way. Because she didn't want to walk around me to the line. She wanted me to. So I ended up just going, I can step back. That's fine. And then she was just so like,
I love that. I had one of my great uncles is he's a super interesting dude. He was a priest. He'd fought in World War II. He was shot down over Germany. Spent time as a prisoner of war. He'd had this crazy life.
Yeah.
And he was always lovely, Uncle Alan. He was always lovely to us. But he just hit an age where he was just sick of bullshit.
Yeah.
And so I remember one of my uncles was walking him through, like taking him in a wheelchair through the airport because he had a cane and just wheeled him, and people are getting in the way, and he's just leaning and whacking him on the leg, like move.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, you But you know, sometimes I'm like, you know what?
They don't care.
Yeah.
I've seen a woman in a mobility scooter just blitzing people, like just just smacking. Like she's just not.
Yeah.
She's going faster than people are walking too. It's not. I think if you do get a mobility scooter, you shouldn't be able. It shouldn't go faster than walking pace. I think that should be the rule.
You know what? And it shouldn't go faster than your last recorded walking pace.
Oh, that would be correct.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you can get a couple more Ks if you think you can do this K quicker.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be the best.
Fitness testing for you.
Yeah, and then they just tweak the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the engine's just a little U on a treadmill.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
just
perfect.
whacking into people. And there's that thought process you have of like, I'm going to, and then you're like, oh, they're old.
Yeah.
Same as if they're young. You're like, well, what's the point of me doing anything about this? This is cruel.
At least with the old people too, you're like, oh, how much longer is this lasting?
Yeah. It just seems like for me, the rule seems to be if I'm going to confront someone, they need to be on level with me.
Yeah.
Intellectually or physically or not that I'm going to go around bashing people. That's never the plan. But as if I'm going to go like, oi, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They need to be able to respond to me in a way that...
Well, it needs to be an interaction rather than just
a confrontation.
Confrontation.
So like old people, kids, I'm like, well, this is not fair.
No.
You know?
What about teenagers? Like you come across a couple of likely lads on the train.
No,
causing
again,
trouble,
like...
swearing.
I leave them.
Yeah.
Mostly. Unless they were really getting carried away, then you'd give them the oi. But it's most of the time I'm like, they're the most fragile, almost. I feel like teens.
You know who I'm most scared of in public now, as just at the age we're at, is teenage girls.
Yeah.
Because no one mocks harder
they're
than
savage.
Teenage girls. Like, you just don't want, like, you don't want to have to...
The look. Just the scathing.
Yeah, man, you'd walk past a group of them and you just, all of us, like, someone starts giggling. You're like, oh, man, I bet they're making fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's still that insecurity.
You know that. Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're almost untouchable in the way they think. They think so differently. They're in a different zone. Like, you could do nothing to connect with them in any meaningful...
No.
They're like these creatures.
Yeah. You
just keep your distance.
It's like, okay. Just like it's like don't tap the fish tank.
Yeah, they'll come
don't
at
annoy
you.
the shark.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Oh man, I had a mate's little girl she's 7, and I think I've known her since she was born, but last time I went and hung out with them, and she remembers me. We got a good relationship. She just decided that I was beneath her, and so she would just bully me. So I'd be sitting reading or whatever, and she'd be like, you need to move because this is my place now. And I'd be like, oh, I thought I was allowed to sit here. And she's like, not move. And then she like slapped my leg, and I'd be like, I'd be like, hey mate, you shouldn't hit people. It'd be bad if I hit you. And she's like, I don't care. And I'd just be like, what am I going to do?
Because she knows there's limits to what you can and actually can't.
Oh, nothing. I can do nothing.
Yeah.
So I just went, hey, I'm going to stay here, and I'd like it if you were nice to me. And she's like, phew. And that was like 3 days of that until she's like, no, you're all right. No, I've changed my mind. Just abuse.
The emotional torture.
Yeah. I imagine because talking to my mate about it, he's like, yeah, she's like that with everyone. She's like that with me. And I just think having a little daughter you love, little child you love, just turning on you, treating you like scum,
man,
as a parent, the pain.
It is like I'm so glad that in a way that we've got boys, because boys are much more...
They're simple creatures.
Linear. Boys are dumb.
Yeah.
Man. I tell a story about how I remember when they were younger, and I was doing something in the lounge room, and then I just hear they were sitting up having breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, and I just hear thud, and one of them, like the younger one, starts crying, and I go in.
Yeah.
And what's going on in here? And the younger one goes, he pushed me off my chair. And my older son, Oscar, just goes, I didn't push him. I was giving him a noogie and he fell.
So good.
I'm like, mate, that's actually worse. What are you talking about?
You've thrown yourself under the bus, and
Yeah.
thank you.
Too dumb to know when to lie about what they're doing.
It's a quick investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
And a quick resolution, where I think with girls, what happens will never be forgotten, potentially.
Oh, yeah. They're just smarter at reading people, working people out.
Yeah.
Like, which I suppose is an evolutionary thing because boys, like men are physically generally stronger.
Yeah.
So women have to be smarter through life, I think.
There's a misperception of people thinking, oh, men are more savage. I think, each gender's got its share, but I think women can be just as savage, just in a different way.
Yeah.
It's
like saying, well, sharks are more savage than piranhas. It's like, no, piranhas can do some damage.
It's just different styles.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's got their different styles of violence.
Everyone's got their, and it's what you use the skills or the gifts you've got.
Use the gifts you've got. So you can see, like, speaking of my uncleness, going to visit my sister. She's got a little 2. I got a little niece who's 2. She's a delight.
So is this the sister in San Francisco?
San Fran, yep.
Yeah. Nice. So you have an American niece.
I got an American niece. And she's 2, man. They're like absolute beasts at that age.
Yeah.
Like she's a delight, but she will do whatever she can to get her way. Like whatever she can to get the biscuits. And I'm like, yeah, mate, I want the biscuits too, but I can't give you all the bit because And so it'll be crying, screaming, like pretending, like, like tricks, just any kind of guise or ruse to get the biscuits. And then she'll get a biscuit at the end after she's like, eaten her dinner. But just the amount they can scream is nuts.
Yep.
To just get a biscuit. And you're like, mate, I can't give you a biscuit. I'm sorry. I'm not in control of the biscuits, Mum.
Yeah. Mate, the singular focus and the willingness to just go, no, we're taking this to the nth level. I am going to scream. I'm burning this place down.
I love the conviction that it's rare that I get that in my life. Like when when there's a mosquito in the room at night, like I'll turn the light on and go, one of us is going to die.
Yep.
Before I go back to bed. Like, it could be me.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking to this until I'll freaking destroy this house. Like, everyone's fucked. That, or I had an Uber that wasn't coming to me and wanted me to cancel. He'll be like, oh, where are you going? And you don't tell them and they just don't come. They want you to cancel because you get deducted or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'll keep you on the hook until I'm dead. Like, I won't use this app again. I'll watch you for my whole life driving around. Yeah. Like, you're cancelling, mate.
Well, while I'm hailing a taxi, I'm going to be watching you.
I was in I got a taxi. I was in a taxi watching him. I was like, man, I don't care. I need that conviction for other things, not just petty. So I'm going to make it. It's like, no, I'm happy where I am.
Mate, you don't understand the stakes.
Yeah, why
You thought you were going up against someone who didn't have just heaps of time.
Yeah, shouldn't underestimate someone who's petty. With a lot of time on their hands.
Exactly, mate. I'm going where I want to go. Yeah. I can leave this in my pocket.
Yeah, I'll walk. It's going to take me 2 hours to walk home. I don't care. That
luxury. I was thinking with kids, it's funny because like you're talking about the stuff they'll go through for the biscuit.
Yeah.
The one that always baffled me with when the kids were littler was when they're overtired, but they get to a point where they're tired where they don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's like everything's annoying. And it's like, dude, you don't understand. All you have to do
is sleep.
They
just rage.
You don't understand how good sleep is. Yeah. It used to always blow my mind when the kids.
What age is that, you reckon? Where are they?
They go through different phases of it. Yeah. But anywhere between sort of 2 and 5, they can go in and out of that. And it's just like, dude, you're overtired. Like now, like even like later than that, they can be like not want to acknowledge they're overtired. It's a control thing.
It is. Yeah. I've got to say.
Yeah.
I wonder so how old are yours now?
Man, mine are 12 and 14.
So you got teenagers now.
Yeah, dude.
How is that?
It is, it's good. It's like, I don't know, every different there's upsides and downsides to every different age they're at.
Yeah,
Like in terms of like, oh, I miss this about them, but then it's really cool that like, you know, that you interact with them more as humans.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they push back on some stuff they never used to, or like the older one in particular is I talked about it in my festival show a couple of years ago. He's crossed what I call the dickhead horizon, where they realise, like, because when they're little, they just think, oh, how good's this guy?
Yeah.
Dad knows everything.
Yeah.
And then they get to that age where they go, he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And so but then there's stuff too now where his interests are like he's way into music.
Yeah.
He loves playing guitar. So
Right.
now he's like, discovering, he wants to come and talk to me about music and talk to me.
He's figured out, some stuff. And
and he likes the music, like the 90s and
sick time.
music.
Our
so
time's a good
like
time.
the time that I was into music, he's discovering a lot of it now.
Yeah.
And
You've got all the records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's it's good like that, and it's good too watching now we'll like watch a movie as a family or watch a series as a family. And it's something we're all into.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Like it's not just the little
starting
stuff.
to come back together.
Yeah.
Rebond almost. Build a relationship as like humans more than a father. I suppose you're still father-son.
Yeah.
This is one thing I'm curious about. I'm never going to have to deal with, but how are you broaching puberty and all that sort of stuff with it? Because you've got two boys. Right?
Mostly just to ignore it.
That's it.
No,
right. That's what I mean, that must be the generic, everyone's kind of...
I don't know, because it's all...
The
like,
talk, that's what I wonder. Is that a thing?
No, well, see, they get so much more education than we got right through school. Like, I remember when they're, like, year 5, like, they come home with a letter, they're getting this talk, they're getting that talk.
Okay.
And, and I remember and I joked about it on stage where they said the letter was like, we encourage you to talk openly.
Yeah.
I'm like, mate, the reason I send them to a Catholic school is so they learn we don't talk about things.
Yeah, so
like,
funny. Great.
You don't have
good.
to.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Push it down, ignore it.
Mate, well, you get don't ask, don't tell the same as I did.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But it's also like, you know what I mean? If they've got questions, I think it's mostly about just knowing that when there's something they need to talk to you about, they can come and talk to you about
so make him feel comfortable.
Yeah. Because also they're nervous and like embarrassed about stuff and they're unsure. So then there's stuff they don't want to talk to their dad about necessarily.
I totally get it.
So
it's like you've got a lot of wisdom that you could give them, but it's not like you can do it easily.
Yeah, and it's
right. So
it's also too
how do you slide that in?
Sometimes depending on the consequence of you got to make mistakes yourself. Like, so as long as they're safe and being safe and then who, like, it's sort of like, okay, well, you just sort of set the
boundaries
and
hopefully they play within that you're not like you've not, I mean, I'm sure you'd be in a situation where you find a lingerie catalog in their room potentially. I mean, that's a very 90s thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that they exist. I don't know if they exist anymore. Or staring at a poster of
no, what's the funniest is when we're watching, like, you will watch a movie or a series and something comes on that's like involved, and then they're both, like, you see them both like, and it's like, it's so performative, but it's because we're there. It's stuff you don't want to see with your mum and dad when you're that age.
Not. I've got very clear memories of watching a movie and a kind of hot scene happens and it's extremely awkward.
Yeah.
Extremely awkward. Still now makes me cringe a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to see that stuff with my parents either.
No.
So you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely culturally, I suppose it all varies. And I think about the thing that springs to mind is, say, like Middle Ages. Everyone was in the same room. Everyone's sleeping in the same bed. Like you see your siblings get born. You're there when they're conceived. Yeah. That kind of stuff. And that makes me go like, I'm so glad I'm born.
Oh, mate, my sensibility is so 21st century when it comes to all this stuff.
Quite prudish. Like, I'd like to think I'm open, and maybe I've got good open ideas, but when it comes down to the hey, we're all in this, we're all gonna just sort of hang around nude, I'd be like, I'm
out.
I will be, in a quiet room reading Reader's Digest, you know.
I'll be the guy fully clothed somewhere else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please don't. Man, there's that pure abandon. Maybe this is connected to dreadlocks and how I feel about dreadlocks. Mad respect if you're just a free spirit. You don't care about a heap of stuff. Maybe there's this primal, joyous thing that I'm yet to find, and maybe I never will. Hopefully not. I'm not looking for it. But people doing Rainbow Serpent, maybe there's a drug element in there as well that I'm not interested in. I'm going to get on the gear. I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to have some like orgy action. I'm not going to worry about washing. I'm just going to be in the mix.
I think that for me is I don't get people who are like, I'm way too self-conscious for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I get nervous on a dance floor.
I hate it.
When everyone's fully clothed, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, am I?
Yeah.
Like, like the orgies and that sort of stuff. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, how you built is how you built, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I'm just saying for me, I couldn't think of anything worse.
I can't. Yeah.
I don't want,
Yeah. To me, karaoke fits into that as well. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of karaoke.
Can't even do that.
I have a few times, but not. You don't drink, so there's the difference between you and I on that one. I think
this is coming from someone. I'm like on stage in front of people almost every night doing stuff, and I'm happy to do that. That's a comfortable space. When someone's like, "Sing for us," I'm like, "No,
nah,
I'm out."
No, I've written bits where it would almost, if I like almost half sung the. Like it's so there's bits where I've got a reference to a song, and it's like and you should sing, and even then I'm like, nah, man, I can't.
Maybe that's our way to grow as people is to maybe take some singing lessons, maybe do some dancing, maybe I don't know, push the uncomfortable. Maybe some orgies. Maybe we get into some. Why are you here? I just find this really hard.
So you go to singing lessons. It's a gateway drug to orgies.
Yeah, that's it.
I told you rock and roll was bad.
Yeah. What's he doing in the sex tent again? We just want him to learn how to do the bloody rumba.
This is what, mate. He learnt to do wop, and now look at him.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a few mates who are definitely living that lifestyle. They're very open. They're very. I think I went to a dinner with a mate I've known for ages, and him and his missus they're living the lifestyle. They're
upside down pineapple types.
Yeah, that's it. Upside down pineapple. They got a few other couples that they'll swing with. And I was at the party. I'm single. I'm just hanging out. I'm with my mates. They're all lovely. And there's maybe 4 other couples. There's like 9 of us there. I'm like the
ninth
wheel. Yeah. Semi-trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't even think about that because I know them all. And then like that next day, my mate was like, yeah, we're all, all these couples, we're all sort of swinging together and we have for however many years. He was just very casual about it. He didn't. And I felt like such a, like a little kid, like, oh, okay,
didn't know. Yeah,
that's weird.
Because I feel like I'm like you. I'm so naive to so much stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't occur to me that, like, if you're not in that world or don't know, or it would never occur to me.
Yeah.
Like I never really think about those things existing.
No.
In the same world that I move in.
Yeah.
So I never. Yeah, that's the sort of stuff where you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like they like.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that with like so much stuff. Like even people using drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Oh,
people use because it's just I don't know. It's nothing around. Like I've got no interest in most in it, so it doesn't really.
It's not. It's
not in my
perception.
world.
Yeah. I know.
So I'm not on the lookout for any of it or whatever. And then you find out like later, were they?
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
They're out looking for it, and it's a big part of their night. I know. Yeah. I generally pick that stuff a little bit. Like something's going, and I'll just split off. It's easy. No, not drinking. No drinking, no drugs makes life like it's pretty clear delineation where I'll be like, yeah, I'll come hang out for a bit, but there's an hour in. Oh, you guys are off on this path. I'm gonna go home and read a comic book.
Yeah,
probably, or go to the gym. even. Just
Just
late night.
late night gym sesh.
Yeah, audiobook maybe,
Yeah,
feels
nice.
great. Man, that maybe one of the upsides of the, riding the rails, the hobo lifestyle.
Yeah.
Is you do get some solitude. You get some solo time, which is good and bad. One, you don't want to get too much, but two, it's so nice to have just time to yourself.
Yeah. I think I'm very much like you, a bit of I enjoy the simple very much. Like I love a drink, but especially as I'm getting older, I say this all the time, my favorite drink is when on a Saturday night, I get home from a gig. I know I've got, if I don't have to work Sunday and I'm I can know there's nothing that we need to do early in the morning, so we can sleep in a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, what? I'm going to pour a whiskey. I'm going to sit on the lounge and I'm going to watch old episodes of The West Wing or some series I've watched a million times.
You've earned it.
Or even, something. I've started watching Billions.
Yeah.
So,
That's not bad.
Hey, why not? Getting an episode of that, just sit and and everything's done and I'm just relaxing.
Yeah, the house is quiet. Everyone's asleep.
Yeah, that's for me is that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
so not some epic quest.
No, my equivalent of that recently has been, this sounds lame, but it's like a Coke no sugar.
Oh yeah,
haven't had one all day. Finish my gig, I get home late at night. I'm parched, treat, and then I have a little fizzy treat.
Yep.
And watch whatever show. Yeah, I don't know. Time to yourself and a little treat when you felt like you've earned it is great.
Yeah, that's, and I know we're probably sounding pretty boring, but
oh man, anti-swinger.
I know we've come
talking about puberty.
Yeah,
really, it's coming off a bit
conservative,
isn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. What are we? Hey, if you need to get an abortion, get one.
Follow your heart, however you want to be. I mean, but there is a really clear delineation, I suppose, from a political standpoint of you're on one side or the other. But I think and what you look like too, what someone would look like based on the one side or the other. But I think, you really, that whole lifestyle, that swinging lifestyle, the whatever lifestyle, it's this is great. Consenting adults.
That's the thing.
Whatever.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Just it's some people are into being vegans.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not for me.
I'm
glad they exist. Good.
Yeah.
But
the more options you've got, the better. Probably. Yeah. And there's options you don't know exist that exist that you could find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely good.
Some people love horse racing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And, I've been to the races, fine, but I'm not that's not my weekend. It's just not. No, I'm not anti it. I'm not. I'm just saying it's not my main thing.
Yeah.
So horse racing, swinging, it's all the same to me.
It's all the same. It's just a lot of meat you're not interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think there is that. There's some issues, and then horse racing being one of them, where there's a bit of a culture war. There isn't there, where there's groups of people who genuinely are against everything that it stands for, and the people. Yeah, they don't even like the people. They don't like the people that are doing it. They don't like that upper class. They don't like the people dressing up. They don't like the.
Yeah, I feel like at the moment there's too much of that sort of stuff. For us or against us. Well.
Yeah.
It's can't I just be ambivalent about some things?
Yeah, live and let live.
Yeah,
if you're not, if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
If you're not actively yelling, I hate this, then you're clearly on the other side.
Yeah. Which to me is
I mean, I feel like if horse racing went away tomorrow, I wouldn't care. It's not a thing that I think about at all. Someone was like, you want to go? I'd be like, not really, but I've been. But if they're like, it's gone, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not happy or sad about that. It's just
it's not a big enough part of my life that it would change a whole lot. Yeah. But and that said, there are I think for the people that are way into I'm somewhat sympathetic to the people that are into things that are less fashionable. In terms of don't get me wrong, there's ethical stuff are you as long as stuff's being done ethically and not harmfully, then have at it. I don't have to be into all of it. I don't have to. It's like when they tried to ban greyhound racing here in New South Wales.
Yeah.
And they banned it, but it was based on it was that thing about they didn't like the people.
There you go.
and there was bad stuff going on in the, with live baiting and that sort of stuff that sort of precipitated the ban. But then when they actually investigated the whole industry, most of it was pretty clean and pretty like there are people who own and race greyhounds who race them because they love they own them and they love their dogs and they look after them and they do anything and they
the
pamper
dogs
the
love
dogs.
to race.
Yeah. So it's like
dogs love to run.
It's in that sense, then that for those people trying to paint them as look how cruel they are is
part of them, I think, attacking a part of a culture that they don't fully understand and they don't like. I do think though, there's something about the far left or people who are really policing other people's behavior or policing culture. They're not. I mean, it's a way for them to not think about their behavior as much. They can spend their time chasing other people up.
Yeah.
And no one's holier than thou. Everyone's got their... I mean, there's a lot of people who are taking, illicit drugs or even non-illicit drugs, cigarettes or drinking, and you can't say that anything about those industries is 100% ethical.
No.
Or the results of them, It's almost like to be perfect, you need to be naked in a room.
Yeah.
Not eating, not...
clean, just... Yeah. Not doing... Like, that's this idea that, environmentalism when we were younger, the whole thing was, make no impact, no impact. That's impossible. You're here. Everything you do has some sort of effect of things.
Yeah, you didn't ask to be born.
No.
Either, you're just here.
Yeah. So you've got... It's like that. To be perfectly ethical, like you basically have to not interact with anyone.
And kill yourself.
Yeah.
Which is probably not ethical.
Yeah, I don't think that's ethical.
Yeah. So
God, it's a conundrum.
Yeah. I don't. So one of the reasons I did want to get a vasectomy was that's my environmental contribution, which is I've got to already reduce my carbon footprint to a minuscule amount, and I'm like, now I can catch planes everywhere. I feel better. I feel better working on cruise ships.
Look, it was this or frequent flyer points.
Yeah.
You should be able to. You should be able to look. I'm getting an ethical vasectomy.
Yeah.
Virgin. Can I get extra status points for that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you,
I want
mate.
I want lifetime platinum. Let me in the lounge. There won't ever be kids with me. Let's go. I'll just let an old bloke in who's just hovering out the front, which is generally what I try to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll find out if someone's flying Virgin and I'll get them into the lounge.
God, you're a good.
You use my part. It's a free. I'll make their day for nothing.
Yeah.
It cost me nothing. Well, it cost me. What I was paying anyway, which is...
Potentially you have to they want to sit with you or something.
Oh, no, yeah. I make sure that I'm just getting them in.
Yeah,
I'm not there.
Listen, I'm not making you a toasty.
Yeah, again, never pick a cute chick because I don't want to seem like a creep.
Yep.
Always try pick an oldie or someone who just seems a bit frazzled.
or an ugly person.
Yeah, someone who
an argo.
I'm like, I'm better than you. Look at me. Look at me help you.
I knew a guy who was in the police, and he used to tell me he used to deliberately let ugly women off tickets because he didn't. He goes, no, too many too many good stories about good-looking women.
Yeah.
He goes, no, if I walked up and she, she's middle aged and she had some kids and she's like, it didn't, wouldn't be what society thought. She was getting off the ticket.
Pass, yeah.
Which I thought was fantastic. Yeah, just put the finger on the other side of the balance.
Yeah, really you should, if you want it to be properly fair, you just have a coin or some dice. You just do the whole flip it, they get it or they don't. Yeah, once a day out of however many tickets, you get the coin today, mate. Heads you're off, tails you're getting it.
Yeah. Well, I think you can tell you've read a lot of comic books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to think of a way to randomize your kindness.
Randomize. Yeah, okay. So now, how would you do that with the lounge?
I would. You know what I should really do is I just go, the fourth person that walks past me, when I stop, I'll ask without looking. And I just ask them.
Have you ever had anyone say no because they didn't know what was going on?
No, everyone will, if they are flying Virgin and aren't in a hurry, will always take it.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee.
That's how good being in the lounge is.
A lot of them have never been in.
It is a, I do like, the lounge is...
It's nice.
It makes airports
It's
much different.
It makes you feel special. It's kind of quiet and nice place to sit. In my head, money-wise, what you get a coffee, a beer, a meal, maybe the lounge each time you go in is saving you $30.
Oh, easy at airport prices.
Yeah, $30 airport prices. But then were you going to have it if you weren't in the lounge? So you're probably not eating or drinking.
I've paid for the lounge once outside of status stuff, and it was because of that. Like I was getting there, I knew I needed to get some breakfast, get some, and get some work done. Yeah, and so I just went, you know what, $35 or whatever it was, and I was like, I'll easily do that on a coffee and some breakfast.
Yeah,
and
as
then,
much as you want, mate.
Yeah,
go wild.
And it was great. I just went in, relaxed, and I there was a bunch of work I needed to do, and so I just sat on the Wi-Fi, did my work, had like a couple of coffees.
It is the best place to, as if you've got work to do, it's great because it's quiet, nice desk, whatever. Yeah. But I know now, I think maybe I've been spoiled. I mean, I'm not going to have it forever. I'll stop traveling eventually. But yeah, I go in and I'll have like a cup of tea. Oh, I'll get like a lemongrass and ginger tea and be like, that's enough for me.
Oh, you're that guy that, you know, because you can always tell in the lounge too, the people who are, they don't get to do it very often.
Yeah, they'll go
because they're like, I'm having a toasty, I'm having a Danish.
Stacking it. They're stacking.
Oh my God, cheese. I'm making a cheese plate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just have a little cup of tea. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got to run. I won't finish it. I got half a cup of tea.
It's you and the guy, like the people whose business, like they've got the business roller. Basically, it's like, they've got the little one on top of the big one.
They're set up.
They don't check baggage.
No.
And they're in there most days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm never checking, so never check baggage. Walk in, do the thing, walk out. Like, everything's on the app. You're all checked in 3 days before. It's all done. Got the other apps tracking the flights. Everything's, board first. I've got like a few seats that I like to sit in.
Welcome back, Mr. Freebairn.
Yeah, that welcome back thing. This last few weeks, I've seen the same flight attendant a couple times on different flights. Not a good. That's Perth and back, then like Sydney and back, then Cairns and back, and Sydney. You know, like I've done how many?
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, and they're like, oh yeah. Like, and you get to see people's shenanigans on flights. I had this woman. She was in Economy X, right on Virgin, like just after business. And the bloke next to her was a big unit, like big solid unit. And she came up and was like, I can't sit next to this man. His shoulders are poking into me. Is there somewhere else I can sit? And the flight attendant went, oh, you can sit here. And it was like, 7A or whatever, just a window seat. And she's like, but is that Economy X? And she said, no, it's just the seat that's free. And
is that what? So how does this work in this woman's mind?
I think she wanted an equivalent valued seat. So she said, well, how am I going to get my money back for paying Economy X?
Well, you $15 extra or whatever it was.
Well, she said it was $300, which I actually guffawed at. I was like, whoa.
You're an idiot if you pay $300 for that. You should be in business.
Yeah, she should be in business. Yeah, so
$300 extra.
She just went, well, how do I get my money back? And the flight attendant went, I've just got to, you're going to have to call the thing. I'm just trying to seat everyone. We're going to take off soon. You need to pick a seat. And she said, well, I can't sit. And, I need a, and she's like, well, that man, we can't control what size he is. You can't make, any, like would never make, like an assessment based on someone's size. We don't talk about that. So you've got a choice. So either sit here or there and make your choice because we're taking off. And then she just walked away. And I was like, you are a champion.
That's it. I love a hostie who's like, just, no, this is the line.
This is it. Like, I'm happy to take care of you, but don't.
There's never hint at it's like the duck on the water, like calm. Totally calm. Inside they're going, you are a coos. Yeah. Just stop being such a bitch and sit down. But they no indication on the surface. No, these are the facts. Yeah. This is all we can do.
And so what do you think what decision do you think? Do you think she took?
I think she was uncomfortable next to the big unit.
You are right.
Because she paid to be uncomfortable next to the big unit. She paid for
it, yeah.
What? Because that sort of behaviour blows my mind because essentially you're paying because you want to be more comfortable. Yeah. And then you get on the flight and you can sit here where you're in the seat you've paid for. Yeah. Where you're less comfortable than the one
Yeah, just a nice window seat, plenty of room. Not the same leg room. She wasn't a giant lady, like in the scheme of things. She's just a 5'5" or whatever. She would have been fine anywhere.
What's your policy too now? They've started charging like to go exit row.
Yeah.
They'll go, oh, you can just pay a bit extra to be in the exit row. Do you think, like, my concern is the most heroic people aren't necessarily the guy who had $30 extra to spend on that ticket.
No, that's right. And I think that it's 50 to 100 more for an exit.
Really?
Yeah, like prices gone up. I get to get in the exit rows a bit more because I'll go to the lounge and say, hey, you guys got an exit row. Can you just chuck me in? And they will most of the time. Because a lot of the time there's no one in them because people haven't paid.
No one wants to pay.
Yeah, so I'll just get in one.
So you're the guy I want there because you don't drink.
Yeah.
You're generally pretty alert to what's going on around you.
Willing and able.
And you're also you're a kind person. So you're not gonna you're not gonna risk anything. Like you're the guy I want.
Yeah. Yeah, you want people who
you're locked in.
But
you fly often, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. But then they don't, I suppose they don't need people in there because I've seen them empty.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it's like, if you are going to sit here, we've got to give you the rundown, but we'll do it anyway, is my thinking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the exit rows.
Because it's not like, it's not that the plane crashed and, look, survivors would have got out, but unfortunately no one was in the exit row, so no one opened the...
Yeah. It's like that... people who want to sit in there because they want more comfort. It's like, I want to sit there because I got a sore back. Oh, well, you can't sit there if you've got a sore back. You have to sit somewhere else. We need people who are willing to. It's only a little bit sore.
Or the people who are like, had a few drinks.
Yeah, that's it.
Can I get a bit? Like, actually, you might need to move. Dude.
Yeah. That sort of. You can see when the flight attendants get serious. People, they'll be like. Because now they are, what I've found in the last year or so, they've been a bit more, take your headphones out. You need to listen to me when I'm giving you the spiel. Like, people have been told off because they're not paying attention or they're on their phone. There's it's a good little microcosm to see how well people behave in public, how attentive they are. From the baggage, like baggage carousel all the way back to just getting through security. How...
Baggage carousel blows my mind, the amount of people that want to stand at the carousel. It's like,
take a step back.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, they're monsters.
Like, why can't we just, like, you do see your bag coming.
Yeah, and you can get it out. People are just so keen to get it. It's that whole collective, everyone take a step back, will be easy for everyone.
Yeah.
I haven't travelled with checked baggage for years, partly because of that and partly because I'm like,
well, you've got the hobo, you've got your stick with your
handkerchief.
It's
pretty much that. But I mean, like, I've gone for big trips with just carry on because one, it's like, there's the chance you'll lose it, you'll be screwed. That's happened to me before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that just means you're stuck somewhere. I mean, you got insurance, you can get stuff, but all your things you need are gone. And then the ability to make connections when you don't have baggage is epic.
Yeah.
So, best one ever, like... recently, only a few weeks ago, got off a cruise ship in New Caledonia, Noumea to Brisbane, Brisbane to Melbourne. The Noumea flight, I had an hour and a half turnaround to get from Brisbane International to domestic. Would have been easy. The flight was an hour, 10 minutes late. I was like, I've got 25 minutes, half an hour to make this flight.
Yeah, there's no way with checked baggage you're making.
No way with checked baggage, but with my carry-on.
Even if you'd checked it the whole way through, you would have made it. There's no
the
way your baggage would have been there.
I made it without... So, like, ran off the plane.
Just popped in for a quick toasty in the lounge.
That's it. Got a coffee. Got pretty much, like, I said, put me right at the front of the plane. Not business, but right at the front. They landed. They let me off first. I got run through by a staff member around the back, straight through border, and then customs let me straight through into a taxi from international to domestic, and then had my ticket, was checked in, got to the gate just as it was halfway through boarding.
Holy!
Yeah, like sweaty.
That's
epic.
epic.
And was like, all I've done is what I should have.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is the best day I've had for ages. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
I made it.
Yeah.
Against the odds.
Bought internet on the first flight to just check the timing. Because I've made a few previously because the second flight was delayed by 15, 20 minutes. Thank you, Jetstar. But like this one, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to try.
Cutting it close. That's fantastic. Now, we are almost at time, but before we go, one of the things I always go to you for when I'm somewhere I know is you are the best recommendation for food.
Oh man, it's an honour,
mate. You are every time I'm in Melbourne, I tell you where I am, and you want to go here, you want to do that,
Oh,
so man. Let's do Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then let's do each of this Adelaide and Perth. And do you know Hobart?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Let's do a lunch recommendation in each of those.
Okay. All right. So we'll go Brizzy first.
Let's go down the eastern seaboard.
Brizzy first would be Trang, which is a Vietnamese place in West End.
Yep.
It's changed owners a couple times, but it's just a classic, awesome little joint, cheap, delicious, good noodle soup. Can't go wrong. So that's one. Sydney is massive, and there's a lot of choices. I'd say what's uniquely... I think Chat Thai would be my Sydney recommendation.
Chat Thai?
Yeah, which is actually a chain.
Yeah.
But there's only a few of them, and they're only in Sydney. The food is ridiculously good. Great Thai food, and it's open late. There's one in the city. There's one in Manly. Couple.
Yeah.
But love them. Like, so good.
Nice.
And I do think Thai food in Sydney is next level. They've just got a good Thai population.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing.
There's lots of good... There used to be a Thai restaurant where we were at Moordale, which we really loved. That's where we went for our honeymoon based on how good the restaurants, the Thai restaurants
there were. That's so good, yeah.
But my favourite thing about this one was they had... it was BYO license, so bring your own grog.
Yeah.
But and they didn't charge corkage.
Oh.
So they had a big handwritten sign on the door. It'd say BYO, no... Well, it's supposed to say corkage, but they'd written cockerage.
No cockerage.
No cockerage, which is also a good policy.
Don't have that at the
restaurant.
restaurant.
Don't have cockerage at your restaurant.
Yeah. Keep your cock calm.
Love exactly.
It. Yeah, Sydney's massive. There's like a few springing to mind. The other one I want to throw in as a notable mention is Dean's Burgers in Newtown.
Dean's Burgers.
Yeah, which is like a proper old school fish and chip shop burger joint.
Nice.
Like it's got a couple arcade machines. Like you can order chips by like minimum to maximum. Chicken salt, like proper like ye olde burger.
I do miss that, like, where you'd go. You remember when we were kids, like it'd be you go in, can I get $2 worth of chips?
Yeah,
or,
that
like
joint.
you just how much money you want to spend
in the
not
paper.
Yeah,
and then like whatever you chuck on it. They'd whack on a heap of tomato sauce, and then you'd wrap it up so the sauce would like kind of soak in.
Yeah,
love it. Dean's is great. Melbourne, my pick would be Tibbis, which is a Lebanese joint in Brunswick.
Yep.
And it's pumps real hard. It's been around forever. It's like pretty like budget vibe, but the food is so delicious, super fresh, and you get like a massive plate of meal, shawarma with salad, rice, dips, pitta for $20, $25.
That's good. Good
so
value.
Good. Hobart, I'm going to go Salamanca Markets.
Yep.
Just because you can't go wrong. And that's where, the scallop pie seems to be like a Tassie specialty. And I've had the best ones there.
Yep.
That I can think of.
Salamanca Markets, we were there years ago. There was one of my favourite pun-based tents.
Yeah.
Like they were selling satay, and it was because it's always on the Saturday. It was just hey, it's satay day.
Yeah, great.
And
that's excellent.
It was like, you know
go
what?
in there
You've
for
got
sure.
my business.
Yeah.
I'm not even hungry.
Yeah. So outside of that, there's a couple fish and chip joints on the wharf, which I think are really good. All right, Adelaide. We've got to go O'Connell Street Bakery.
Ooh,
24-hour bakery.
Nice.
That or Villiers. Have you been to the 24-hour bakeries of Adelaide?
No.
There's 4 of them.
What? Jeez, they love a late night pie.
They're insane. And also they've got this German heritage, which means that you can get like a cheese Kransky that's wrapped in pastry, which you can't get from anywhere else. And they've got frog cakes. Adelaide's bakery game is next level. So like go at any time, obviously, but good pies, good sausage rolls, like decent price, always packed. Get a nice coffee, which is an Adelaide staple. Yeah. Real good.
It's a lot to be said for the late night bakery.
Yeah. Oh, man. And 24... Oh, there's...
Not enough of them.
Yeah.
There was a place, I don't know if it's still there, it was called House of Pie at Matraville.
Yeah.
In Sydney. And it was pies in the numeral.
Yeah.
And they used to do pretty much 24 hours.
Love that. There's one called the Pie Tin in Newtown as well, which is a real good pie joint.
Real.
Everyone goes mad about, and they're amazing. Let's stick to task, though. We've done Adelaide.
We've done Adelaide.
We've done Hobart. So Perth.
Time to cross the Nullarbor, mate.
Yeah, now this is a big trip. And I'd say Perth has got a place that I just went to, which has got one of the best sandwiches I've had, which Daniel Muggleton put me onto.
Okay.
It's called Bagelows.
Bagelows,
yeah. Line out the door, and there was a pastrami, like smoked pastrami sandwich. Oh. I'll show you a photo after the show. Nuts. Like one of the best sandwiches I've had in recent memory.
I do love a nice deli sandwich.
And so if you're ever over there doing gigs, it's Beaufort Street, Mount Lawley. You got to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Mate, I think I've just planned my next.
Yeah, that's it. And I haven't got any Darwin.
No Darwin.
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm trying to think. I've only been to Darwin once.
Yeah.
I was gigging, and I think I was gigging at the Mindle Beach Casino.
Great.
And doing functions there, and then because they'd got me a hotel room there,
yeah.
I went out and explored, but then ended up eating at the Chinese restaurant at the casino, which was great.
Yeah, great.
It was real good Chinese, but I want to do Darwin more.
Yeah, I've only been through just for transit the last couple of years. I haven't spent much time there. Got to go up and do some gigs.
Yeah, it's good winter spot.
Oh, yeah, now's the time to go.
Yeah.
It's already too hot, actually.
No.
Go in June.
Nothing like leaving for you Melbourne in the middle of winter.
Pretty chilly, yeah.
And then arriving and it's 30 degrees. And it's like we're in the same country.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
One of my fondest memories is leaving very chilly Melbourne and jumping into a pool, 6 hours later.
So good.
Oh, like amazing.
Excellent. All right, mate. Thanks for doing this.
Mate,
before we go,
for having me.
Where can people find you online?
All right. Bartlol.com, at BartLOL for Instagram, and I think that's it. That's it? Yeah. And then, all the other links are attached to that.
Yeah, beautiful. Excellent, mate. Thanks so much for doing it.
Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Cheers.